Hello everyone, and welcome back to this garden. We are in the middle of the investigation, or the trial of Wolfgang Gray's murder. Still can't believe he's the first one dead. Man. Alright, let's get into it. Let's just jump right into it. I have nothing else to say. I'm excited to see where this goes. I have my theories, I have my thoughts, but I've shared most of them in passing in previous episodes, so let's just keep going.
Of all the things which could deal similar damage to a lightning strike, doesn't a generator sound the most likely?
Didn't Ulysses say it was destroyed?
At the time of the investigation, sure. But it wasn't always destroyed. You probably don't remember. But back when we found the dummy, I mentioned something about the underground floor.
Dining hall people, you were in this building before. Tell us what's going on. Yeah, why did you mention this other girl? The hell, I never even saw her. You were there too, Bargain Bin? Not even. There's a floor below us, that's where I woke up.
To be more specific, it was the boiler room I woke up inside. I hadn't been alone either. Ava was also there.
I woke up first.
Yeah. She did.
It's not a competition, Ava.
Anyway, Ava, you agreed the generator was in full working condition when we woke up, right?
Right.
So in the time since you woke up there, the generator was destroyed?
It's the only possibility. As for what destroyed the generator, well, it's hard to say for sure. My best guess would probably be...
Don't waste my time.
Oh, Winona.
Two things. First, destroyed is overly vague. Ulysses explained the state of the generator much better. Charred beyond belief. Second, and more importantly, where's your proof the generator inflicted those burns?
What are you talking about? The generator must be involved. It's near where Wolfgang is lying.
Being within range of something counts as proof now, does it? Do you also consider happenstance as conclusive evidence? Funny how the standards shift, if so.
That?
Damn, she's trying to make me look like an idiot. If I let this continue, the others might start to doubt me. I need to stop her before she veers the trial off track. The only one with an interjection animation. Think again. Okay. Got it. Sometimes it's like your arms one of the big goes rebuttal showdown. During rebuttal showdown, your opponent will fire make up flurry of remarks. You're going to counter them. Don't watch these. There's argument. Naturally, you will slash in the direction of the button pressed. Select diagonally, simply press two keys at the same time. Okay. So we're going to strike out the text. The green side of the screen will shift left to represent the target succeeding. Likewise, if you miss white text, the orange side of the screen will shift right to show that your opponent is winning. If you have your remarks, you'll advance to the next stage. If you haven't, you'll retreat. If you're someone in the middle, and your opponent will wrestle for control and show run across swords. In order to gain the upper hand, you must rapidly left click. Now to the meat of the dual truth blade. That's not debates. Hold on right click to slice them apart with the truth blade. Slice the start lighting the second equal. Assess the validity of the remark and check if you have the correct truth blade equipped. Now let's keep Winona waiting any longer to battle.
While the generator may look suspicious, consider the time frame we're working with. If the only time you saw the generator in full working condition was on the day of our kidnapping, that gives us a period of almost 4 days, in which the generator might have been destroyed.
What about the blackout? It's impossible for the generator to cause the blackout. If it was already broken prior to the tournament.
What about the blackout? The building may very well have lost its power at any point before or after the murder.
There we go.
I'll cut through those words!
Oh, okay. That was quick as a draw. Oh, damn. I'm impressed with myself. Sorry.
When the blackout happened, it froze a piece of equipment which had been set up for the game tournament, Mark's DJ pad. While there was no physical clock inside the dining hall, a digital one has been built into Mark's pad. If you look at what time the digital clock is frozen on, it matches the time of death listed on the tablet, 9:35 a.m.
Well, Mark, is this true?
There's no point in me saying anything when someone else has already said it better.
Just answer with a yes or no, will you?
Yes.
In any case, the matching times are too much of a coincidence. The destruction of the generator caused the blackout, and the blackout occurred at the time of the murder. There's no way the destruction of the generator wasn't tied to Wolfgang's death.
What do you suppose happened then?
I'm willing to bet the generator's destruction resulted in the boiler room's water becoming electrified. Since Wolfgang was discovered kneeling in the water, we can reason he was standing in it at the time this happened and...
Damon, you and I both know that's not true.
Huh?
Did you forget? It's impossible for the water in the boiler room to play a role in Wolfgang's murder, because it isn't even conductive.
It's not?
After Damon and I woke up in the boiler room, I wanted to investigate the flooded area. So, I tested the water.
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Ava approach the pile of boxes and fish out a light bulb. Then, without hesitation, well, she chucked it into the water.
I even redid my test during the investigation, since Damon wasn't sure if he should touch Wolfgang's wet clothes. In both instances, I proved the water was safe to enter. To be honest, neither result really surprised me. Water will only act as a conductor if it makes contact with two separate energy sources. The boiler room's generator is just one source.
If you're standing in the water, one outlet should be enough. Speaking from experience, large bodies of water are terrifying conductors during storms. All it takes is one lightning bolt, and the surrounding miles are scorched.
But the generator is a slow, persistent source of electricity. It's not the same as a lightning strike.
Electricity is electricity. Doesn't matter how it manifests. The reason you two avoided electrocution is because the generator's exposed wires aren't even touching the water. If they were, you would have been scorched right from the start.
Maybe when the generator was destroyed, some of the wiring fell into the water?
Nah. Even in its current sorry state, the generator's wires are nowhere near the water.
It doesn't make sense for the generator to pose a danger anyway. The point of the killing game is for the students to kill each other, not for the facility to kill the students. A feature of the building killing a student would be a meaningless death because you can't attribute a student killer to it.
As for why the generator's been charred, sometimes electrical faults happen. Even my ship's engines have broken under particularly relentless storms. And if an electrical fault caused Wolfgang's death, then his murder is purely on the hosts, ain't it?
Of course! If we were responsible for his death, you lot wouldn't be here discussing it.
That's... Is the generator really unrelated to the case? The timing of the blackout is too perfect, it can't be a coincidence.
Okay, since we've ruled out the generator, what else could have electrocuted Wolfgang?
It mightn't be relevant, but I did see one other thing on the boiler room floor. A toy gun or something. At least, that's how it came across to me.
Not a toy gun, a taser gun.
A taser? I'll shoot electricity!
I'm not sure how the taser fits in with this case, though. It doesn't seem to have been used.
Nope. The taser was definitely used.
How so? I didn't catch any sort of string protruding from it.
Not all taser guns release a string when fired. Some are completely wireless. For those types, you can tell they've been used if the blast doors are missing. Side note, blast doors are plastic panels which cover the muzzle of a taser. If a shot is fired, they pop clean off. When I was investigating the crime scene, I found the taser gun in one spot and its blast doors in another. Speaks for itself, yeah?
And here I was thinking the yellow bits were just random trash.
Where the heck did a taser gun even come from? Last time I checked, there weren't any lying around in the storage closets.
Maybe it belongs to someone here.
Huh?
Just think about it for 1 second. Everyone here has a dorm room which is themed around their talent. Mine's got DJ equipment, Jet's got car batteries. If that's what we have with our talents, what could someone with a dangerous talent have?
Are you talking about, like, knives and stuff? What? Is there something on my face?
Forget this. The person I'm talking about is Desmond.
Huh? No way! You think the gun is Desmond's?
Yeah.
Hang on. You've got it all mixed up.
Jean, do you know anything about this? As Desmond's roommate, perhaps you spotted something inside his dorm.
Alas, we stayed in my abode. I couldn't tell you if he had weapons.
Talk about suspicious.
Did Desmond agree to bunk in Jean's dorm so Jean wouldn't see the weapons in his?
Listen, I get where you guys are coming from, but that taser gun, it's not mine. I've never seen anything like it. No, that's a lie. A lie?
I have to feign innocence, don't fool me. Now would I know the truth. Okay. Who's Desmond is lying? Blackmail.
I got it.
Oh, yeah.
The blackmail tools you gave us. That's my evidence. You didn't get mine, did you? No. But the person who did informed me of what it said.
With the weapons at hand, Desmond guards the only one he trusts.
The writing style seems to match. I think it's legit.
That's more than a little suspicious, don't you think? Leaving a bunch of weapons unguarded during a killing game?
Don't judge me. This is the first time I'm hearing of it too.
You didn't know there were weapons in your room?
Yep, no idea.
Our rooms aren't particularly subtle in their theming. Are we supposed to believe yours is any different?
It is themed. I'm not denying that. But I sure as hell didn't catch sight of any weapons. If I did, do you seriously think I'd leave them unguarded and risk being found out?
Yeah. Desmond cares too much about everyone. He pointed out the broken doorknobs and gave us the idea to bunk together. Why would he hide weapons in his room?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent and found the taser gun hidden inside. There's no other way to explain it.
So while Desmond gets a bunch of guns, all I get is an old game console and a dead controller.
Take the bad with the good, dearest pupil. No one fears game consoles. Well, no one besides parents and the religiously inclined.
Enough talking about consoles. Why are you guys believing Desmond so easily? If the taser gun belongs to him, then he's the killer. Any argument he makes against it is just a flimsy excuse.
Ooh, Grace.
Desmond is the killer. The taser gun came from his room.
I had no idea the gun even existed. I was barely in my dorm to begin with.
Because you wanted to draw attention away from your weapons hoard.
But...
If this is about avoiding suspicion, why did Desmond say the taser gun was fired? I don't think a killer would draw attention to their own murder weapon.
I was with Desmond.
I call it reverse psychology. You sprinkle in a little helpfulness, and suddenly everyone trusts you.
When the murder happened,
Desmond innocent, we're going to have some statements.
Desmond is the killer!
Hold on. Okay, so we've got Grace's testimony. Taser gun. Tojiga's fetch quest.
The taser gun came from his room.
I had no idea the gun even
blackout.
existed. I was barely in my dorm to begin with.
Out. She spent her morning in the courtyard with Desmond.
Because he wanted to draw attention away from your weapons hoard!
But...
If this is was fired. I don't think
Oh, fuck. God damn it.
I call it revenge.
God damn it.
Desmond!
I had no idea the gun even existed. I was burying my door to begin with. Because you wanted to draw attention away from your weapons hoard! If this is about avoiding suspicion, why did Desmond say the teaser gun was fired? I don't think the killer would draw attention to their own murder weapon.
There we go.
I got it.
Regardless of whether or not Desmond knew about the gun, he definitely wasn't involved in the murder. Eloise can back me up on this.
Right. Desmond and I, we were together in the courtyard at the time of Wolfgang's death.
I see. And both of you can be ruled out as suspects.
Don't just take her word for it. She could be covering for Desmond.
Jeez, if you have a bone to pick with these guys, at least save it for when we're not solving a murder.
Yeah! Why don't you want to believe Eloise?
Ever since the investigation, these two yuppies have been on my case non-stop. They're obviously working together.
Not gonna lie, I see where Grace is coming from. When Eloise tried to single her out earlier, Desmond was pretty quick to jump in and agree.
Even so, since the topic has been brought up, I would like to mention something. During my trip to the pharmacy, I believe I saw Desmond and Eloise in the courtyard together.
You also said you were back in the hallways around 8-10 a.m., didn't you? That means those two were wandering around unsupervised. Either one of them could have left the courtyard.
If Desmond was the killer, what would Eloise gain from defending him? Should the wrong vote be cast, nothing about the rules suggests an accomplice of the killer would be exempt from execution.
That's right! And even if she was exempt, Eloise is too nice to be an accomplice to murder.
Grace, I realize Desmond's irked you, but that's no reason to keep steering everyone down a dead end. Let's move on.
Ooh.
A person who's always steering others down a dead end, huh? I guess they needed a GPS. Anyway, we should totally thank Desmond for clearing things up now. Not only do we know he's not the killer, now we know how the killer got their hands on the taser.
Now we know how... What?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent, and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Yup, that is a word for...
Right. Good memory.
All in a day's work, baby!
Can you repeat that quote, Cassidy?
Again? But I just said it.
Yeah, but I want you to say it again.
Alright. Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Is there something on your mind?
If Desmond's testimony is anything to go by, then wouldn't this mean the culprit has to be male?
What?
If I remember correctly, all the guys were aware of each other's pairings. With that sort of knowledge, a male student could try and infiltrate another male student's dorm.
None of us knew which room we'd be bunking in.
It only takes a quick peek to check if someone's inside or not. Anyone could have done that.
And who's to say the thief didn't barge in before we started bunking?
Or while people were having breakfast.
Seems there was a mountain of opportunities for our culprit to sneak in unnoticed. Doesn't exactly help us narrow things down, does it?
Well, guess this taser gun was a bust.
Look on the bright side. If it's been fired, then it's probably what electrocuted Wolfie. If trying to suss out who stole it isn't feasible, why don't we, talk about Wolfie's other injuries instead? You know, the ones that weren't burn marks? Those seem like they could lead us somewhere.
Yes. I'm really liking this trial so far. It all feels very, reasonable, and everyone is acting in, making reasonable assumptions. Like, even Jet at the start, yeah, if you don't look at the body, it's a pretty reasonable assumption to assume that he was stabbed to death because there was a bloody knife and bloodstains.
Yeah. Besides the burns on his hands, Wolfgang also had a bruise and a tiny red dot on the back of his neck.
A bruise and a tiny dot, huh? Wanna try tackling them in alphabetical order?
Alphabetical order? Now, aren't you full of smart ideas?
No need to thank me. It's only common sense.
Okay, let's discuss the bruise first.
Bruise, okay. Bruise. Oh, the steel rolling pin, yeah.
I think it's safe to say the killer didn't use a flamethrower.
Maybe Wolfgang got into a fight? Someone might have attacked him and aimed for his neck.
If you can even reach that high.
Either way, something must have hit him.
Okay, so yeah,
What if Wolfie fell over? How spindly he is, one tiny misstep could leave the poor fella bruised for days.
Skinny guys bruise easily, eh? Let's see if you're right. Ulysses, fall over.
No, thank you.
Someone's covering me.
If you can even reach that high. Either way, something must have hit him.
Let's go.
Kai's right. Something did hit Wolfgang.
Really? Man. And I was only blurting out the first thing which came to mind. Anyway, from how you're wording things, do you know what that something is?
A rolling pin.
Eh?
Wolfgang was hit with a rolling pin.
How on earth did you reach that conclusion?
Ava and I found this pin inside storage closet A, which is just a few feet from the crime scene. Coincidentally, the pin also has a dent.
You sure that's enough to say it's involved? Could just be a flimsy pin.
No. There's something else which solidifies this pin's role in the murder. Handprints. 2 of them on the edge of the pin.
So the killer used a rolling pin to attack Wolfgang?
It certainly explains the bruising on his neck.
They must have wanted him to be unconscious so he wouldn't fight back.
Exactly. It would be easier to drag him into the water if he's not awake.
You reckon the killer purposely put Wolfie in the water?
Bam! With one electrified blow, Wolfgang is zapped to bits with the taser. Since he's lying in the water, he's definitely a goner.
Considering the logical ethos of the killer's rectitude, especially when governed under constricting pressure, leaving him catatonic would be the most facile solution.
Toshiko, you love to use big words, huh?
I guess it makes sense.
After shooting Wolfgang with a taser, what was the killer's next move? To figure that out, what's the clue to solving the case?
So let me get this straight. The killer knocked out Wolfgang with a rolling pin, and then chucked the pin into Closet A?
When exactly did they discard the pin?
They couldn't have done it.
Sorry?
When Eva and I were already downstairs. Because the 2 of us went inside Closet A.
Why were you inside the closet?
To find the backup generator, remember? Ed and I checked Closet B. Eamon and Kai checked Closet C.
I'll just check the closet to make sure that she's not fucking things up. I'm assuming not, but... Okay, yeah. Jen Cassie for Closet B. Okay, yeah.
Eva and Grace checked Closet A. And Jean and Mark checked Closet D.
The killer just discarded the pin before we came downstairs.
Yeah, I think Mark's right. Because the killer could run upstairs and go back to their room
Immediately after.
Ah, shit. Just because the killer placed the pin earlier doesn't mean they left before we arrived.
So
Yes,
let me get
okay.
The killer knows that Wolfgang
I just
will
have to
roll.
be faster on
You know,
hitting
check the pin
Diana's
across
station.
the edge. They could have done it. When Eva and I were already downstairs. Because the two of us went inside close to bed. Before we came downstairs. Yeah, I think that's right.
Because the killer could run upstairs and go back to their room
Immediately.
discarding the pin.
No, that's wrong!
Diana, there's proof the killer fled the underground hallway at a later time. When the tournament attendees were looking for a backup generator, Kai and I heard someone run past our room.
Huh?
Oh man, that's right. We were just exploring the closet when all of a sudden we heard footsteps in the hallway. That's when Damon decided he was gonna follow where the footsteps came from and entered the boiler room.
Did anyone else hear these footsteps?
Nope. Not ringing any bells.
Yeah, Jen and me didn't really hear it over all our talking.
I heard the footsteps.
Huh? You did?
Well, I initially thought it was my imagination, so I never said anything.
Ashamed to say I also brushed off the footsteps. Thought I was hearing things. However, since other people can attest to hearing them...
Then someone else was on the underground floor with us.
Before anyone tries to bring it up, none of the tournament attendees could have been the person running, since everyone explored the closets in pairs. They all have solid alibis.
I'm sure we can all vouch for that, aye?
Everyone was still in their closets after Damon and I found Wolfgang. So...
Considering the footsteps were moving away from the crime scene, I think it's safe to say they belong to the killer.
Wouldn't that mean the killer fled while you guys were exploring the rooms?
Hold up! So the killer had been right next to us?
Joy, that's a given.
Huh? How are you so calm after hearing that? The only thing which stood between us and a murderer was a door. What if they attacked us?
Well, they did it, so I don't see what the problem is.
Sheesh, you're weird.
Why not run away earlier, though? Fleeing while everyone is searching seems really risky.
Maybe it was a miscalculation?
It's not impossible, I guess.
If not that, then maybe the killer returned to the boiler room after discarding the pin?
No, I'm gonna bet they returned the bowling pin as they were coming down the stairs as one of the other students.
Sounds pretty
Or
meatheaded if
pretending
you
that
ask
they were
me.
returning.
Yes, you'd think a killer would use that moment to run away.
For the two who heard the footsteps, describe the sound.
It was kinda... socky. As in, it sounded pretty soft. Like the person had taken off their shoes.
Saki, huh? Seems this killer was purposefully trying to keep quiet.
Because their footsteps were soft?
That seems like a leap in logic.
No, I get what she's saying. Everyone here has socks on, I'm pretty sure. So any one of us could have run down the hallway. The thing with shoes is, not everyone here has the same kind. If the killer had worn theirs, we might have been able to figure out their footwear from the sound it made on the floor. Then we just have to single out the person with that footwear. Man, it would have been so easy to find the killer.
We already can find the killer, though.
What?
Oi, are you pulling our leg?
I'm completely serious. Picture a map of the building complex in your head. The building with the dorms is on the left, the courtyard is in the middle, and the building with the tree is on the right. Now, try and pin everyone's locations during Wolfgang's murder. Once you do that, the identity of the killer will definitely become clear.
Is the killer someone whose position we can't place?
Yep.
No, it's not about position.
Eh?
Wolfgang's killer can easily lie about their location during the murder. The only thing distinguishing their testimony from everyone else's is that theirs can't be corroborated.
Yeah, in which case our killer. Yes, that's right. The only one here who could possibly be the killer is you. I'm sorry, Diana, but I know it's you.
It has to be you!
Oh.
Diana, it's you, isn't it?
Her? The makeup girl?
She's the only one here without an alibi. Those of us who attended the tournament can obviously be ruled out. And as for those who didn't, Desmond and Eloise were in the courtyard. Toshiko and Ingrid were in the same dorm room.
The tiny piece of metal was a hairpin. The tiny piece of metal was a hairpin. Or like a thing for her hair. Oh.
What about Winona? She never mentioned an alibi.
Give me a break.
Winona and I were in the building with the tree all morning. In fact, yes, Desmond and Eloise should have witnessed us walking over there, as those two were in the courtyard at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
In that case, Diana really is the only one without an alibi.
Guys,
If she's the person who fled the boiler room, those footsteps we heard make a lot more sense. Heels make a pretty loud clop sound on hard floors, and the underground hallway's floor is pretty hard. Diana would obviously want to take them off. Also, heels aren't comfy to run in.
Whoa! I didn't even think of it like that. You're totally right, though. Since Diana's the only one here with heels, she would have to take them off.
Guys, what are you talking about? Me? A killer? Do you really think I could be a killer?
The fact you weren't at the tournament is incriminating enough.
Not just that. Everyone but you has an alibi.
But I do have an alibi. Right, Ava? You woke up with me this morning, and you never saw me leave my dorm.
During the brief amount of time we were together, I never saw you leave. What you did after I left for the game tournament, however, is anyone's guess.
Ava wanted to help me and Cass set up the tournament, so we told her to swing by early.
For that reason, I left Diana's dorm at 8:05 a.m. I know the exact time since her room has a clock. I probably entered the dining hall around 8:10 a.m.-ish.
So much for an alibi, then.
Diana, don't tell me.
Holy smokes, it's all falling into place!
God.
Are we sure there hasn't been some sort of misunderstanding?
It's not possible. Diana can't be the killer. No! I refuse to believe it!
Looks like some people here aren't willing to face the facts. That's not a problem. I'll make them face the facts, whether they like it or not. Soon enough, nobody will deny Diana killed Wolfgang. Oh, man. I had a feeling from the start.
If it was Diana inside that boiler room, could she be the one who left the blood trail? Because if so, that might be her blood on the knife, too.
Diana's blood? Are you saying she wounded herself?
Wounded herself? What makes you think that?
I don't know! Why else would the killer's blood be on their own weapon?
Did we not already agree the killer was wielding a rolling pin?
Well, maybe they had both. The rolling pin in one hand, and the knife in the other.
Dual-wielding weapons? Holy, this killer's next level.
Okay, yeah, we gotta disagree with Toshiko, because the first point is impossible, and she realized which I put out that piece of evidence.
If it was...
She has to have been looking to see a rolling pin in both hands. It's been mentioned that it's been handprints on this new rolling pin, not just a singular handprint. Also, it is like steel, and you would have to reach out, so that would probably like really make a good hit. That would have to be like.
Well, maybe they had both. The rolling pin?
One hand?
Yeah.
No, that's wrong!
No. The killer was only wielding the rolling pin during their confrontation with Wolfgang. You can tell just from looking at the pin. There are 2 handprints wrapped around the edge, as if the killer had been holding the pin like a tennis racket. Which makes sense, because you can swing with more force if you use both hands. And that's what a killer wants when trying to knock out a grown man.
Then, who held the knife?
It wasn't the killer, so it was most likely the only other person in the boiler room. Wolfgang Akire.
What the hell are you talking about? Wolfgang, carrying a dangerous weapon? Bullshit!
If you were in his situation, wouldn't you?
Huh?
Wolfgang received an anonymous message asking him to meet in a basement, all whilst in the middle of a killing game. At that point, it doesn't matter how much of an optimist he is. You know better than to come unarmed.
A knife isn't super hard to find, either. Wolfgang probably just stole one from the kitchen.
Besides, if Diana is the one who got stabbed, it would explain the blood trail. Think about it. She arms herself with the rolling pin and attacks Wolfgang, getting hurt by him in the process. For some reason, possibly because of the blackout, she doesn't clean the blood trail she's leaving, and returns to her dorm room after.
No! That's wrong!
No, that's wrong from Diana.
I wasn't stabbed. If I was stabbed, then I'd have an injury. But there's nothing, right? There's nothing on me.
Depends. If a vein got nipped, you'd be seeing blood no matter the size of the cut. Of course, that also means a small cut will need bandaging, which I'm not seeing on you.
You may not see any injuries on Diana, but that doesn't mean they aren't there.
Huh?
If she wanted, she could simply hide her injuries from view. After all, someone like her has exactly what it takes.
She is the ultimate cosmetologist.
I got it.
Ooh.
Talent. As the ultimate cosmetologist, Diana could easily cover her wounds.
It makes sense. With the right equipment, she could probably disguise even a bandaged wound.
As Diana's bunking partner, I've seen firsthand how many different cosmetics are inside her room. So unfortunately, I have to agree.
Well, Diana, did I get anything wrong?
No. No. But
Wait. Diana, did you just say no? As in, no, you're not wrong that I covered up my wounds? Oh, crap. You guys know what this means, right, guys? Diana basically just confessed!
A confession? Are you for real?
Oh, man.
It makes sense, though, doesn't
I have a feeling on why. I have a pet feeling.
Diana got wounded, which proves she got in a fight with Wolfgang, which means all that stuff about Wolfgang going to the boiler room, all that stuff really did happen.
I see. I see now what you were saying. Diana, she lured Wolfgang to the boiler room by writing him that note. And when he arrived, she attacked him and killed him. And now, she's been lying this entire trial, hoping we would never suspect her. Yeah! How cruel!
Diana, it wasn't me. I promise, it wasn't me.
To think she could preach about friendship after committing a violent crime.
And then try and sentence the rest of us to punishment.
Golly, you're right. If we voted for the wrong person, we would have been executed.
That's so fucked! Seriously, Diana? What the hell is your damage?
just hear Diana's side of the story?
Her side?
Well, you know, Diana has, I just think it's fair we listen.
What does it matter what she said? Look at the evidence. This case, it's closed. We know who the killer is. If you really want to ask for Diana's side of the story, then do it after the vote.
No! No! No!
Vote. That's right, we have to vote for the killer. Diana, I've proved beyond a reasonable doubt that she's a killer. Proved beyond a reasonable doubt, so...
No. No. No.
Why is it that when I hear her cry, I get this strange nagging feeling in my chest? Why does a tiny part of me want to believe the things she's saying? Why all of a sudden do I doubt myself?
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room.
Lying in wait, clogged
Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
Then she fled the crime scene, hoping the rest of us would never learn the truth.
How could you, Diana? Poor Wolfie was only trying to keep us together.
But I would never murder Wolfgang.
If you don't have an alibi, then you obviously did.
But I
wanted to believe so badly that you were innocent. Why didn't I see you for who you were?
If this goes on any longer, I'm gonna be sick.
What are we waiting for then? Let's get this over with and vote!
No. Not unless...
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room. Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
Then she fled the crime scene, hoping the rest of us would learn the truth.
This might be the wrong one. It might be the one right before this one. Oh, it's it.
No, that's wrong!
Pathos counter.
We know that Diana got stabbed during her confrontation with Wolfgang, but that doesn't prove she's the culprit.
Wait. Huh?
If anything, what it should mean is that Diana was trying to get away from him as fast as possible.
Do you hear yourself right now?
He's lost his mind.
The stab wounds prove that Diana was in the same room as Wolfgang before his death. She's the killer.
I'm not. I'm not the killer.
Diana. Damn it, what's come over me? I'm getting all mushy and making a fool of myself in front of everyone.
Sheesh, Damon. How are you going to say all this dramatic stuff about Diana being the killer, and then say the opposite 5 minutes later?
I'm making a fool of myself. I'm making a fool of myself, and yet, when I think back on everything she's done, just because they have different opinions doesn't mean they're bad people. They clearly want the same thing as the rest of us, right? They want to go home. So I think it's okay to give them a chance. Yeah, that's right. We can make it through. We can make it through this. We can make it through this. I wish I could speak as well as you, Wolfgang. I realize everyone's been acting tense around you and Ava, so I want to say hi and check that you're okay. Well, in any case, if you ever need someone to talk to, just come find me, alright? Diana was always thinking of me when no one else was. She knew how frustrated I felt about everything about Wolfgang. Of course, she tried to play it off as some kind of casual interaction between friends, but she tried to help me without making it seem like I was someone who needed help. Could someone like her really have what it takes to commit a murder? It doesn't make sense. I think Diana could kill another person. It doesn't make any logical sense.
Whatever. Who cares what this guy says? We finally know the killer. Let's cast our votes already.
I guess, if that's what everyone else is doing.
Remember, if you don't vote, you die. So none of you naysayers better get any smart...
Hey, Tozu.
Ideas?
Are you listening, Tozu? I need to ask a question.
Dude, what are you...
Hello, hello! It is I, Tozu, answerer of questions. You ask a question, I give an answer. Just common sense it is.
Answerer of questions? I thought you were a host.
I'm a host with an ascendant in question answering. A jack of all trades, if you will.
Anyway, Tozu. According to the regulations, everyone has to vote when a trial is over. My question is, when exactly can a trial be considered over?
Are we talking in a literal or philosophical sense?
I mean, does the trial end and the voting begin once we think we've solved a mystery? Or does the vote automatically start after a certain amount of time?
I see. All right, I'll humor your question. If you ask nicely.
What?
Go on. Ask the question again.
Well, are you still gonna do it?
Tozu, can I please know the factors that decide whether a trial could be considered over?
Tozy, you bitch.
Well, since you're so polite, I'd be a fool not to tell you. The truth is, the class trial will only end once I become bored with it.
You're joking.
What? Why didn't you say this sooner?
Come now, it's not like I wouldn't announce a warning in advance. Tick-tock, tick-tock. That's the sound of my internal clock losing patience. Let's start wrapping things up, shall we? I think we're long overdue for a vote. See? Smart, snappy, and to the point.
Sounds terrible.
What if you're still not bored, even when we think we've solved the case?
If that happened and all of you agreed to vote, what reason is there for me to say no?
So in that case, everyone must unanimously agree to vote before voting can be held.
Indeedy.
All right. Then, since you haven't made any kind of warning, I take it you're not bored with the trial yet.
Not yet.
In that case, I don't agree to vote.
What? No way! Are you seriously pushing back the vote?
Not until I know who the real killer is.
It's obviously Diana. She's the only one with...
Diana may not have an alibi, but even so, saying she's a murderer contradicts everything we know about her.
Since when?
Diana looked up to Wolfgang, and Wolfgang cared about her. From the moment suspicion fell on Diana, she's been nothing but a nervous wreck. Does that really sound like someone with the emotional capacity to murder?
What's to say she's not faking it?
Even if she was, it'd be rash to commence a vote without hearing both sides of the story first.
You do make a good point.
We are not in a rush. I say we hear Diana out.
Yeah. I don't feel comfortable voting yet until Diana shares her testimony.
Sure thing. I'm up for listening.
But...
Diana, I promise to keep an open mind if you tell me what happened, even if it's stressful to relive, until we have conclusive evidence to say otherwise. I'll hear you out.
Oh, this I wasn't expecting. I thought it would be open and shut on Diana, but...
I'm sorry. I'm really I wanted to help. I wanted to make everything okay, but all I could do was be useless. All I could do was watch him die.
Ooh.
It's all my fault. All my fault. For doing the wrong thing.
So is this a confession, or...
No!
Huh?
I didn't kill Wolfgang. And I don't know who did, but I still failed him as a friend. I failed him then. And I failed him here. But if I told the truth, things would be worse than they already are. But now that I've said nothing...
Diana watched Wolfgang die? Ooh, we are gonna unpack that in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Eden's Garden. Next episode, we see who really killed Wolfgang.